Same will not be said about this SportsCenter once it is done. Good morning. I'm Elle Duncan. That is Randy Scott. Something happened, Randy, on the PGA Tour that hasn't in 5 years. We'll tell you in a minute how that affects Tiger Woods.
Yes. But we start with the NBA because the last game before the All-Star break can get weird. Pelicans had no business hanging with the Thunder, especially with the fact that they were shorthanded by the end of this thing. Let's get to it. Show you Russell Westbrook. A little bit of history. Could be bittersweet in the Pacific Northwest. There you see Russell Westbrook just a few points shy of Gary Payton for the most in Sonics Thunder history. Knocks down a three. He's one shy of the glove. Westbrook gonna attack the basket. And then we got an inbound. There it is. Up, that's the record. There it is. 18,208 points for Brody. But let's go second quarter here. And we got Anthony Davis, and savor the flavor. Enjoy it while it lasts. 14 points for Davis. Westbrook going to attack, and he's going to score past Davis. We got a nice little individual batter. Thunder within 6, but the Pelicans up 5. Watch Davis here. We spot shadow him. Nerlens Noel had a nice night. Hit the deck hard there because Davis, knocked him to the ground. 22 points for Noel, but watch as the shoulders collide, and Davis would have to leave the game with a left shoulder injury. You can see him sort of shaking it out. And then he left the arena in the fourth quarter with his agent, Rich Paul. So 14 points in 16 minutes, his third straight game under 15 points. It's tied for the longest streak in his career. So you expect the Pelicans to just fold, huh? Take their wings? These broken wings?
Oh, no.
Well, I'm just saying.
No.
Julius Randle had 33. That was Drew Holiday to Jahlil Okafor. 32 for Holiday. And now the Thunder are down 11 in the fourth quarter. We're chipping away. Raymond Felton. Did you know Raymond Felton was on the Thunder?
No.
Yeah. But that was the 11th dime of Westbrook's night, his 11th straight triple-double. And, man, this was a meaty triple-double. 44 points for Russ Westbrook. Paul George, only 3 for 17 from distance. But there's one of them, and that makes it a 3-point game. And here we're down by 5. Westbrook can make it a 2-point game. No. He could have made it, but no. So 44 points, 11 dimes, 14 rebounds, and the Pelicans still win, although Alvin Gentry didn't sound like it postgame.
To tell you the truth, this whole thing has been a dumpster fire, and it's just hard, for guys. We want guys to be professional and we want them to do this, but it's hard for guys, to go through what they've been through. And to be able to come out and beat a team of that quality, I'm happy for all the guys. I just thought that they did a great job.
Dumpster fire.
Well played.
Well, despite the win, Pelly's just 26 and 33 this season. That's a mirror image of what they were at the same point last year. Matter of fact, they started 38 and 26 last season, didn't lose their 33rd game until their final game of March. Anthony Davis, meanwhile, averaging just 15.8 points in the 4 games he's played since going public with his desire to be traded. His playing time has been limited, however, averaging fewer than 25 minutes per game, Elle.
As far, Randy, as OKC is concerned, tough loss. But Russell Westbrook playing out of his mind. He recorded his 11th consecutive triple-double last night, as you mentioned, which extends his own NBA record. Westbrook's 44 points, believe it or not, were a season high, and it was also the first time during the 11-game triple-double streak where he led the Thunder outright in scoring, and that's because PG-13's playing out of his mind. It was also his 12th career 40-point triple-double, tying James Harden for the second most such games in NBA history. Oscar Robertson still holds the all-time mark with 22. So it's the All-Star break, which means it's time to look ahead, right? If the playoff matches... This is what the playoff matches would be, rather, if the playoffs started today. We'd have Nuggets Spurs, Thunder Jazz, and the Trailblazers against the Rockets. Meanwhile, the teams on the outside looking in, the Kings, the Lakers, and the Timberwolves, all hoping to play themselves into the playoff picture over their final 25 games of the season. On the opposite end of the spectrum, these two teams are playing for the draft. Knicks and the Hawks. The Knicks had lost 18 straight. Playing the Hawks, that's a good way to get yourself off the schneid. Early on, though, John Collins, he's been fantastic for the Hawks this year. Connects with Trae Young. He'll be in the slam dunk contest on Saturday night. Young uses the screen here, goes behind the back, and then finds Dwayne Dedmon, who led Atlanta with 21 points. So despite going down 14-0, the Hawks make it a 3-point game going into the half, and Fizz is like, come on, bruh. But they're trying to break the streak. Fizz would say these were desperate men and they wanted this win, and you could tell. DeAndre Jordan heard your spread these broken wings joke and did it himself.
Well,
Jordan with the liftoff and
great song.
Coach Fizz with the smile. More from the fourth. Luke Cornett, listen, this thing was a rout. Fizdale and the Knicks, they finally get their first win since January 4th. It has been 6 weeks, but winners they are.
It's a long time coming. We was on a streak, and to go into All-Star break, breaking that streak, I think it's going to be major for us moving forward. We got a lot of competitors in the locker room, as well as our staff, so it's a great feeling. It's a great feeling. Coach spoke on it earlier. We had to come out as a desperate team, desperate men. Like I said, it's been a long time coming since we got a win, and we just had to lock in, make every hustle play, not dwell on the negative, just give it all we got.
It would have been very easy for us to check out and get on to wherever we were going to go, but we were desperate men. Those guys wanted this game really badly, and they came out and they showed it.
Yeah, well, it had been 41 days, Fizz, as you know, since they got a win. They beat the Lakers on January 4th, and it was all downhill from there. Snapping that longest single-season losing streak in franchise history. Here's the good news, Randy. They have an opportunity next week when they play the Timberwolves to snap another streak. That would be their 17-game home losing streak, which is also a record. Yikes. All right.
Not the kind of record anybody wants.
No, it is not. That brings us to what I said before. That's the chances to tank. They won last night, but they lost the tank war. Despite the victory, they're still tied with the Cavs and the Suns for the best chance to get the top pick in the 2019 draft. I do want to remind you, it's the first year where the teams with the 3 worst records all have the same chance of receiving the #1 overall pick, which could potentially be this.
NBA All-Star break, not really the halfway point of the season. Most teams have played about 57 games, and numbers matter because we're seeing some historic numbers this season, specifically in Houston and really wherever Houston plays. James Harden has been playing through a sore shoulder. Makes sense considering how he's been shouldering so much of the offense for the Rockets. John Anderson now crunching the numbers on Harden's historic first half.
James Harden scores and scores and scores.
Shoots for 3. Got it! The MVP does it again!
Stat lines unmatched by contemporaries like Curry, KD, Carmelo, or even Kobe. It is truly the stuff of legends.
What we're watching is one of the most fascinating performances that I've ever witnessed.
30 or more points in 31 straight games, something only one other player in NBA history has accomplished. That's Wilt Chamberlain, who had a 30-point streak of this length twice, and one of them was twice as long. Harden actually unmatched and his absolute best in January, creating for both himself and Houston teammates.
And a great assist for Harden. When you play with great players, you're going to get a lot of good looks.
He scored or assisted on nearly 62 points per game. That is the highest mark in a single month in NBA history. And lots of those points came in a uniquely Harden way, like from way out.
Step back, long 3, it's good.
There's nothing anybody can do. James Harden is just too good.
He's buried 174 step-back three-pointers this season. And not only is that triple of any other player, it is nearly double every other team. Harden wrapped up the first half of the season on pace for a historic scoring average. At 36.6 points per game, he would finish with the second highest total since the ABA and the NBA merged, a mark bettered only by Michael Jordan.
The way Harden is playing right now is basically unguardable.
We have never seen a stretch of basketball offensively played by one player like this.
The scoring numbers, phenomenal, and they just keep adding up. So you go ahead and guard it.
31 straight 30-point games for the Beard. And since that streak began in mid-December, Harden is actually averaging 41.5 points per game. It's better than 9 points better than the next best average during that span, which belongs to Paul George. Half-hour headlines on this Friday morning. What makes Oklahoma City such a threat in the West? You have a legit MVP candidate in Paul George. Oh, and Russell Westbrook is still his triple-double self.
Yeah, whoever's keeping track of NBA records this year should probably just write them in pencil because we've got Another night and another historic performance, this time courtesy of Russell Westbrook. Brody notching his 11th consecutive triple-double last night, extending the longest such streak in NBA history set by himself. His 42-point, 14-rebound, 11-dime effort, however, not enough to key his team to a win as the Pelicans snap the Thunder's 4-game winning streak. Of his historic play, Westbrook saying he still has a lot of room for improvement. Where? Last night was the 12th time Russ has registered a 40-point triple-double in his career. He now only trails Wilt Chamberlain in that category, but OKC is just 7-5 in those games, Randy.
Elle just ran through it somewhat aggressively. The Pelicans won, but they lost as well. Julius Randle had 33, Drew Holiday had 32. Anthony Davis only had 14 because he only played 16 minutes, and he left with an injured shoulder. They're calling it a shoulder contusion. Then he left the arena during the game with his agent, which prompted Alvin Gentry to say this after the win.
I'm happy for all of them. I'm happy for all of them, because to tell you the truth, this whole thing has been a dumpster fire, and it's just hard, for guys. We want guys to be professional and we want them to do this, but it's hard for guys, to go through what they've been through and to be able to come out and beat a team of that quality. I'm happy for all the guys.
Anthony Davis is effective when he's playing. Last night, just one of a slew of injuries for the talented big man. He's missed 14 total games, most recently sitting out after 9 straight, right? Spraining his left index finger on January 18th.
The Knicks, losers of a franchise record 18 straight games, were thrown a life preserver last night in the form of the Atlanta Hawks, who came out as flat as Kyrie Irving's globe. Keyed by Dennis Smith Jr.'s 19 points, the Knicks roll Atlanta 106-91 for their first win since January 4th. Now, the Knicks would have the second best record in the league if they played the Hawks every game, because New York is 3-1 against Atlanta this season, but 8-46 against everyone else. They are 11-47 overall, which is the second worst record in the league. Tank for Zion.
Proud of that Kyrie line. LeBron James spent his off day last weekend flying to a game to watch one of the best players in college basketball. Game, recognizing game, right? But is there a different set of rules for the most famous player in the game, LeBron, who used his off day to fly down to see next year's #1 draft pick, Zion, play in a college game? What if that most famous player in the game's agent is also that most famous player in the game's best friend? Well, here's what LeBron had to say about Zion, right? This is why he went. This is what he said to our own Dave McMenamin, quote, "What strikes me, well, his agility and his quickness, for his size, how strong he is, to be able to move like the way he moves, he's very impressive. I mean, everybody can see the athleticism. That's ridiculous, but the speed and the quickness that he moves with at that size is very impressive," close quote. So anybody who thought this was a recruiting trip, though, that's where LeBron draws the line, and that's where the language that he used with Dave McMenamin jumped up a notch. Quote, "A recruiting trip? I didn't talk to anybody." They're only saying that because it's Rich, talking about his agent, Rich Paul. When Shaq came to see me play in high school, when AI came to see me play in high school, they weren't saying it was a recruiting trip then, but because it's Rich Paul and LeBron, now it's a recruitment trip. Close quote. From Charlotte, tipping off tonight, you got the Celebrity Game, 7 Eastern on ESPN, followed by the Rising Stars Game with the U.S. against the world format. Tomorrow, skills challenge. Love this. 3-point slam dunk contest. Curry brothers, defending champion Devin Booker, former champ Dirk Nowitzki among the 3-point contest participants. All wraps up on Sunday with the All-Star Game itself. Team LeBron, guys on the move, right? Durant, Kawhi, Kyrie, Anthony Davis taking on Team Giannis. The All-Star break, perfect time to look at the sights and the sounds from around the NBA of the first half of the season.
It's just always humbling for me anytime I get an opportunity to be a part of something special.
Allow me to introduce myself. There's James to the bucket again. Giannis. Oh, my goodness. Oh. I'm not sure it gets more powerful than that. He came for the massage. He came for the fight. ESPN. Here comes your play of the day. 2, it's a 3. Good. To win another one. Another one.
Luka goes in. How did he do it? On the way, he's gone. 47.
Boo me, hate me,
telling you, I love it. I love it. It's my time to move on.
We're excited about today, and we're very excited about the future.
I have nothing to do with the Knicks. I don't know who traded Porzingis. I'm trying to play basketball. The ball deserves to go in the crowd after a move like that.
He knows I was trying to get 50. I didn't mean no harm.
It's hot now. Paul punches a throw. Paul and Rondo throwing punches.
I wear my emotions on my sleeve. I play with that same emotion. He's always in his feelings.
You guys are cool?
For the lead. For NBA history, 14 threes in a game.
Do you feel like you're playing the best basketball of your life right now? Probably.
Harden has scored 30 in 31 consecutive games. Often competitors and forever friends. Allen with the denial.
Either way, you're going to be on the highlight.
Yes.
What a way to cap it off. James Harden, of course, the story of the first half of the NBA season, averaging 36.6 points per game. That would be 7.9 points more than anyone else in the league. It would be the second most in a season since the merger. Only Jordan, 86-87, averaged more. Andre Drummond is leading the league in rebounding. Russell Westbrook setting the pace in assists.
Walker making his third appearance. Walker and Vucevic on the same team on Sunday night. They'll both be on Team Giannis, but it's not All-Star weekend yet, so here we go. Walker driving and Vucevic with the big block. And on the other end, Evan Fournier with the finish. Magic D limiting the Hornets to 26% shooting in the first half. They would take a 36-point lead into the half, which is the largest lead over an opponent going into the half this entire season. It would only get worse for the Hornets. Keep in mind, Magic had lost 13 straight to the Hornets. Terrence Ross.
Ooh.
Right? Not in the dunk contest this year. But what a beautiful... Remember in 2013, Terrence Ross was in the dunk contest, and he actually won that year.
Yes.
You remember this?
I do.
Yeah.
I remember where I was.
5 years ago. Do you?
Yes.
Okay, I wasn't going to ask because I don't care, but...
I feel like you don't believe me.
Back to Thursday night. A couple more looks at Ross and his dunk. Oh, by the way, the Magic win 5 straight games for the first time in 3 years.
There we go.
Wow. All right, so with the All-Star break upon us, we take a look at what the playoff matchups would be in the East if the season ended today. Bucks, Pistons in, Raptors, Hornets, Pacers pitted against the Nets, and the Celtics paired up with the Sixers. Meanwhile, here are the teams on the outside looking in. You've got the Heat, the Magic, and the Wizards all hoping to play their way into the playoff picture after the All-Star game.
I'm glad you brought up the Wizards. It's crazy to think of Washington as a team that could play itself into the playoffs, considering John Wall is out. And that's one thing I like about how wide open the East is.
That's your reference is the Wizards? Exhibit Nets. Like, they're already up in there.
That's true.
As for what senior NBA writer Zach Lowe likes and doesn't, here's 10 things.
I'm Zach Lowe, and here's what I like and don't like around the NBA this week. I like the insanity of Paul George and James Harden.
Harden again with Ferguson on him. Step back long three. It's good.
Harden is on pace for almost 270 step-back threes. He's pulling this craziness in the corners now.
Step back, corner three, got
it. It's hard just staying in bounds there under pressure. Meanwhile, we have perhaps overlooked George amping up his shot-making daring do.
Quick trigger three by Paul George.
He has drained 23 step-back threes. That's 5th overall, and since he has a height advantage over so many wings, he needs 0 space. George is averaging 29, 8, and 4 on a 45, 41, 84 shooting line, and he might be the favorite for Defensive Player of the Year.
And LeBron, sure, he hasn't gone to the basket yesterday.
I don't like LeBron in chill mode. Yep, this is a thing again. LeBron gives the ball up and watches, statuesque, even though he has Boban freaking Marjanovic on him. This is chill mode offense. Look, LeBron has reached an age where he needs to conserve energy in the half court, especially given how often the Lakers run. LeBron's old teams in Cleveland could afford heavy doses of this dialed-back Bron. They played in the East. The Lakers play in the West.
Throws to McCollum, a 3 for the game. Bang! Pow!
I like C.J. McCollum, NFL running back. McCollum's three-point shooting is normalized after an icy start. His mid-range artistry never abandoned him. A personal favorite. when McCollum cuffs the ball like a running back burrowing through the line before reclining with his knees up and his foot extended to clear some space into an unblockable leaner.
McCollum with a tough shot that still goes in the paint.
The Blazers need to get consistent minutes out of folks beyond Damian Lillard, McCollum, Yusuf Nurkic, and Jake Layman, but they're a tough out as long as Lillard and McCollum are clicking. For more, check out my column, 10 Things I Like and Don't Like, on ESPN.com.
And so as we are looking forward to Get Up this morning, coming your way in just a little bit, we go into the All-Star break, which means we're 2/3 of the way, for the most part, into the NBA season. To you, what has been the biggest surprise of the year so far?
This is going to be a surprise to a lot of people who has the best record in basketball. Not the Golden State Warriors, not the Los Angeles Lakers, not the Boston Celtics, the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah.
And they've been terrific this year, led by Coach Buden, who's done an amazing job developing their talent. Greek Freak is my front runner for MVP. Added veterans like Robin Lopez, who was knocking down the three. Just added Mirotic around the All-Star break. Brogdon has played well. Bledsoe has played well. Middleton has played well. The Milwaukee Bucks have been my surprise.
No, I completely agree with you. Sneaky big news. They're the best team in the NBA. No one would have seen that coming. How about a crazy prediction? What do you see happening the final third of the season that no one's expecting?
A crazy prediction is that the Lakers will not make the playoffs. They're 3 games out, headed into All-Star break. They're under 500, and they're chasing the Sacramento Kings, something we thought we never would have said. When I watched this team play at Atlanta, they didn't look like a playoff team. When I saw Atlanta lose to the Knicks, who had just lost 18 in a row, it confirmed it. I don't believe the Lakers make the playoffs.
That would really be something. We are getting ready to go. Get Up, going to be busy this morning. Jalen is here breaking down Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, and more, plus Scottie Pippen's comments on LeBron, and Trae Young will join our program. It's Get Up at 8 a.m. Eastern here on ESPN, so we're just a few minutes away. Right now, let's send it back to SportsCenter. Keith Olbermann and the Not Top Play.
KO.